ladies are causing quite a Twitter storm in their mom's new surprise documentary, which is hitting about a year and a half after her stratospheric memoir. And I have to tell you, if reaction to that bestseller is any indication, this film is likely to break all kinds of records.
Shocking revelations are tearing apart America's most beloved family. After years of silence, whispers of a DNA test have exploded into the open, allegedly exposing a truth so devastating that Sasha Obama has completely cut ties with her parents. The perfect family we all admired, it might have been hiding the biggest secret in political history. What Michelle Obama feared most has allegedly been confirmed, and the fallout is absolutely explosive.
It takes generations for us to evolve. We haven't adapted to this new media. We have not biologically adapted. And so no wonder we're stressed.
Yes.
No wonder we're full of anxiety. No wonder our kids are struggling.
A rumor has recently emerged that's captured significant attention across social media and various online platforms. The claim centers on Sasha Obama, the younger daughter of former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama, and suggests that a DNA test has revealed unexpected information about her paternity. According to these circulating reports, this alleged discovery has led Sasha to distance herself from her family. While these claims remain unverified and should be approached with considerable skepticism, they've nonetheless sparked widespread discussion about the Obama family's private life and the pressures of growing up in the public eye. To understand the context of these rumors, it's important to first look at how the Obama family has been perceived by the public over the past 2 decades. When Barack Obama was elected as the 44th President of the United States in 2008, he brought with him not just political change, but also a family that many Americans found relatable and inspiring. The Obamas quickly became more than just the occupants of the White House. They represented something aspirational for millions of people, both in America and around the world. Barack and Michelle Obama presented themselves as a modern family, navigating the extraordinary circumstances of the presidency while trying to maintain some sense of normality for their 2 daughters. From the very beginning of Barack's political career, the couple was open about their commitment to keeping their family life as grounded as possible, despite the inevitable spotlight that came with his rise to power. This wasn't always easy, particularly given the intense media scrutiny that follows any president and their family. Michelle Obama, in particular, carved out a distinct role for herself as First Lady. Rather than simply standing in the background, she became an advocate for causes that mattered to her, including education reform, healthy eating initiatives through her Let's Move campaign, and support for military families. Her authenticity and willingness to speak candidly about her own experiences resonated with many people. She was seen as approachable yet dignified, strong yet compassionate. This combination made her one of the most popular First Ladies in modern American history. Throughout Barack Obama's 8 years in office, the family's public image remained remarkably consistent. They were photographed at state dinners and official events, but also in more casual moments, playing with their dogbo on the White House lawn or taking family vacations. The media often portrayed them as having a strong marriage built on mutual respect and genuine affection. Barack frequently spoke about Michelle in glowing terms, and she did the same about him. Their partnership appeared to be one of equals, with both bringing their own strengths to their respective roles. The Obama daughters, Malia and Sasha, grew up largely shielded from the harshest aspects of public life, thanks to their parents' determined efforts to protect them. Both Barack and Michelle were vocal about wanting their daughters to have as normal a childhood as possible under such abnormal circumstances. They attended school, had friends over to the White House, went to summer camp, and participated in typical teenage activities. The media generally respected the unwritten rule about giving children of presidents some privacy, particularly during their formative years. This carefully maintained image of family harmony and stability became part of the Obama brand, so to speak. They weren't just politicians, they were a family unit that seemed to embody core American values while also breaking barriers as the first African-American family to occupy the White House. Their success was seen as a triumph not just for Barack Obama individually, but for what they represented collectively. However, maintaining such a pristine public image over such a long period inevitably invites scrutiny. Any family living under that level of constant observation will eventually face rumors, speculation, and challenges to their carefully crafted narrative. The Obamas have been no exception to this reality. Over the years, various rumors and conspiracy theories have circulated about different aspects of their lives, though most have been quickly debunked or dismissed as lacking credible evidence. What's particularly interesting about the current rumors regarding Sasha is how they tap into several different threads of speculation that have existed in various forms throughout the Obama presidency and beyond. There have been occasional whispers about the state of Barack and Michelle's marriage, questions about their path to parenthood, and speculation about how their daughters are really coping with their unique upbringing. These rumors, while largely unsubstantiated, have persisted in certain corners of the internet and among those who are skeptical of the Obama family's public persona. The challenge with rumors about public figures, particularly those as prominent as the Obamas, is that they can take on a life of their own, regardless of their basis in fact. In the age of social media, claims can spread rapidly and widely before anyone has a chance to verify their accuracy. The line between legitimate journalism, gossip, and outright misinformation becomes increasingly blurred. This is especially true when the rumors involve emotionally charged topics like family relationships, infidelity, or questions about parentage. It's worth noting that the Obama family has generally chosen not to respond to most rumors about their private lives, which is a common strategy among public figures. Addressing every false claim or piece of speculation would be exhausting and potentially counterproductive, as it can sometimes give more attention and credibility to unfounded stories. However, this silence can also allow rumors to fester and grow, particularly among those who are already inclined to believe them. The specific claim about a DNA test revealing unexpected information about Sasha's paternity raises several red flags from a journalistic standpoint. First, no credible news organization has reported on any such test or its results. The claim appears to originate from anonymous sources and has been primarily spread through social media and less reputable websites. Second, there's no clear explanation for how such private medical information would have become public, as DNA test results would be protected by privacy laws. Third, there's been no statement from any member of the Obama family or their representatives addressing these specific claims. Despite these obvious issues with the story's credibility, the rumor has nonetheless gained traction in certain online communities. This speaks to a broader phenomenon where people are sometimes more interested in sensational claims than in verified facts. The idea of a perfect family having hidden secrets is inherently compelling to many people, perhaps because it makes them feel better about their own imperfect lives, or perhaps because they enjoy the drama of a potential scandal involving famous people. The rumors also reflect ongoing tensions in how we think about public figures and their right to privacy. The Obama family chose to enter public life, and with that choice came a certain loss of privacy. However, that doesn't mean they've forfeited all rights to keep aspects of their personal and family life private. The question of where to draw that line between legitimate public interest and invasive speculation is one that society continues to grapple with, particularly in an era where technology makes it easier than ever to spread information, whether true or false. Sasha Obama was born Natasha Marion Obama on June 10, 2001 in Chicago, Illinois. She was just 7 years old when her father was inaugurated as President of the United States in January 2009, making her one of the youngest children to live in the White House in recent history. Her older sister Malia was 10 at the time, and together they faced the unusual challenge of growing up in what is arguably the most famous residence in America, if not the world. From the very beginning, it was clear that Sasha and Malia had quite different personalities. While Malia often appeared more outgoing and comfortable with public attention, Sasha was noticeably more reserved and seemed to prefer staying out of the spotlight whenever possible. This wasn't necessarily shyness, but rather what appeared to be a deliberate choice to maintain some distance from the constant media attention that surrounded her family. Even as a young child, she seemed to understand that every public appearance would be photographed, analyzed, and discussed. Life in the White House presented unique challenges for both Obama daughters, but particularly for Sasha, given her younger age. While other children her age were worrying about homework and playground friendships, Sasha had to navigate Secret Service protection, media scrutiny, and the knowledge that her every move was of interest to the public. Despite these extraordinary circumstances, Barack and Michelle Obama worked hard to ensure their daughters had as normal a childhood as possible. The Obamas established firm boundaries around their daughter's privacy from the moment they entered the White House. They made it clear to the press that Malia and Sasha were off-limits, except during official events, and carefully managed photo opportunities. This meant that while the public occasionally saw glimpses of the girls at state dinners, Easter egg rolls, or the annual pardoning of the Thanksgiving turkey, most of their daily lives remained private. They attended Sidwell Friends School, a prestigious private school in Washington, D.C. that many children of politicians and diplomats attend, where they could have some semblance of a normal school experience. Photographs and videos from Sasha's time in the White House show a young girl who appeared to be navigating her unique situation with grace. She was seen playing basketball, hanging out with friends who visited the White House, and participating in typical childhood activities. The Obamas ensured that both daughters had chores and responsibilities, despite living in a house with a full staff. Michelle Obama has spoken in interviews about how important it was to her and Barack that their daughters understand the value of hard work and not take their privileged position for granted. During public appearances, Sasha often stood quietly beside her parents, sometimes appearing slightly uncomfortable with the attention, but always composed. Unlike her sister Malia, who seemed to grow into the public role more naturally as she got older, Sasha maintained a consistent preference for staying in the background. This wasn't interpreted as rudeness or aloofness, but rather as a young person trying to carve out some space for herself in an environment where privacy was a rare commodity. As Sasha entered her teenage years while still in the White House, the challenges of maintaining privacy became even more complex. Teenagers naturally want independence and the freedom to make mistakes away from parental supervision. But this is nearly impossible when you're surrounded by Secret Service agents and your every outing is potential news. Despite these obstacles, the Obamas continued to protect their daughter's privacy as much as possible, rarely speaking about them in detail during interviews and discouraging media coverage of their personal lives. When the Obama family left the White House in January 2017, many assumed that life would become somewhat easier for Malia and Sasha. They would no longer be living in the most scrutinized residence in the country, and perhaps they could finally experience something closer to a normal life. However, the reality proved more complicated. Being the daughters of a former president still meant living with a level of fame and attention that most people never experience. After graduating from Sidwell Friends School, Sasha initially enrolled at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. This choice was somewhat surprising to many observers who had expected her to follow her sister to an Ivy League institution. Malia had taken a gap year before attending Harvard University, a choice that generated significant media coverage. Sasha's decision to attend a large public university in the Midwest was seen by some as a deliberate attempt to have a more typical college experience, away from the concentrated media attention of the East Coast. At the University of Michigan, Sasha reportedly lived in a dormitory like other students, though presumably with security arrangements that her classmates didn't require. She was occasionally spotted on campus or around Ann Arbor, but generally seemed to keep a low profile. Unlike many children of famous parents who embraced their celebrity status on social media, Sasha maintained minimal online presence. She didn't have verified public social media accounts and rarely appeared in photographs posted by others, suggesting she actively avoided situations where she might be photographed. Her time at Michigan appears to have been relatively uneventful from a public perspective, which was likely exactly what she wanted. There were no scandals, no dramatic incidents that made headlines, no controversial behavior that would have drawn negative attention to her or her family. She seemed focused on her education and on living as normal a college life as possible, given her circumstances. However, after her sophomore year, Sasha made another surprising decision. She transferred to the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. The reasons for this transfer were never publicly explained, and the Obama family offered no statement about the move. Transfers between universities are common enough that it might not have generated much attention if she were anyone else, but given who she is, the decision sparked considerable speculation. Some observers suggested she might have transferred to be closer to her sister, who was pursuing opportunities in the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. Others speculated that she wanted a change of scenery, or that she was interested in programs that USC offered that weren't available at Michigan. Still others wondered if something had happened at Michigan that prompted the move, though there was no evidence to support this theory. The truth is that without any official explanation, the public was left to guess at her motivations. At USC, Sasha continued her pattern of maintaining a low profile. She graduated in 2023, completing her degree without any major public incidents or controversies. Throughout her entire college experience, spanning 2 different universities, she managed to largely stay out of the headlines. This is no small achievement, given the intense interest in her family and the ease with which information spreads in the social media age. What's particularly noteworthy about Sasha's approach to her college years and young adulthood is how deliberately she seems to have constructed a life away from public attention. While her sister Malia has been somewhat more visible, pursuing internships in the entertainment industry and being photographed at various events, Sasha has consistently chosen privacy. She hasn't given interviews, hasn't become involved in public advocacy work like her mother, and hasn't leveraged her famous name to build a public career or social media following. This preference for privacy makes sense on many levels. Growing up in the White House during formative years from age 7 to 15 means that Sasha spent her entire childhood and early adolescence under intense scrutiny. Most people have the luxury of making mistakes, experimenting with their identity and figuring out who they are away from public observation. Sasha never had that luxury. Perhaps her withdrawal from public life as a young adult is simply a natural response to years of forced visibility. However, this same preference for privacy has also made her more vulnerable to speculation and rumors. When someone actively avoids the public eye, people tend to wonder what they're hiding. The less information that's available about someone, the more room there is for speculation to fill in the gaps. This is particularly true for someone like Sasha, whose famous "family means there will always be public interest in her life, whether she welcomes it or not." In recent years, reports have suggested that Sasha has become even more withdrawn, not just from public life, but potentially from her family as well. These reports are difficult to verify, as they typically come from anonymous sources and lack concrete evidence. However, they've contributed to a growing narrative that something might be wrong, that perhaps Sasha isn't simply choosing privacy, but is actively distancing herself from her family for deeper reasons. The rumors about Sasha Obama's paternity appear to have originated from anonymous sources online, with claims that a DNA test had been conducted and revealed information that contradicted the public understanding of her parentage. According to these unverified reports, the test supposedly showed that Barack Obama is not Sasha's biological father. It's important to emphasize that there is no credible evidence supporting these claims. No reputable news organization has reported on any such test, and no member of the Obama family has ever suggested that there is any truth to these allegations. The way these rumors spread is typical of how misinformation circulates in the digital age. An anonymous claim appears on a social media platform or obscure website, often with vague references to unnamed sources or leaked documents. From there, it gets shared and reshared, with each iteration potentially adding new details or embellishments. Eventually, the claim reaches a point where some people believe it simply because they've seen it repeated so many times, even though the original source remains unidentified and unverifiable. What makes this particular rumor especially troubling is the deeply personal nature of the claim. Questions about parentage strike at the heart of someone's identity and family relationships. If such information were true, it would represent a profound violation of privacy for it to be made public, without the consent of those involved. The fact that this rumor continues to circulate despite having no credible foundation demonstrates how little regard some people have for the privacy and dignity of public figures and their families. The alleged DNA test rumor has been accompanied by claims that Sasha has responded to this supposed revelation by distancing herself from her family. According to these unsubstantiated reports, she has been avoiding public appearances with her parents, cutting off communication with family members, and generally withdrawing from the Obama family circle. Again, there is no verified evidence to support these claims. Sasha has maintained a private lifestyle for years, long before these particular rumors emerged, so any apparent distance from her family could simply be a continuation of her long-standing preference for privacy rather than a response to any specific revelation. It's worth considering what we actually know about Sasha's recent life versus what is speculation. We know that she graduated from USC in 2023 and has kept a low public profile since then. We know that she doesn't maintain active public social media accounts and rarely appears at public events. Beyond these basic facts, most of what circulates online about her current life and her relationships with her family members is speculation rather than verified information. The paternity rumors have also reignited older speculation about the state of Barack and Michelle Obama's marriage. Throughout Barack's presidency and in the years since, there have been periodic rumors suggesting marital problems or even infidelity, despite the couple's public image as having a strong partnership. These rumors have never been substantiated by credible evidence, and both Barack and Michelle have spoken openly and positively about their marriage in numerous interviews and in their respective memoirs. In her book Becoming, which was published in 2018, Michelle Obama wrote candidly about various challenges in her marriage to Barack. She discussed the difficulties of balancing his political ambitions with her own career and their family life. She was honest about moments of frustration and periods when they sought marriage counseling to work through issues. This openness was praised by many readers who appreciated her willingness to acknowledge that even seemingly perfect marriages require work and aren't always easy. However, nothing in Michelle's memoir or in Barack's subsequent book suggested anything resembling infidelity or questions about their children's paternity. On the contrary, both have consistently spoken about their daughters with clear love and pride, discussing the challenges of raising them in the public eye, but never hinting at any uncertainty about their family bonds. The fact that these rumors persist despite the Obamas' own words and the complete absence of credible evidence speaks more to the nature of celebrity gossip than to any actual problems within the family. The timing of the paternity rumors, if they were true, would suggest an affair during Michelle's pregnancy with Sasha or the use of a sperm donor during the conception process. However, there's another aspect of the Obama family's story that has sometimes been drawn into these speculations, and that's Michelle's openness about her fertility struggles. Michelle Obama has been remarkably candid about the difficulties she faced in trying to conceive and the miscarriages she experienced before having her daughters. In her memoir, she revealed that both Malia and Sasha were conceived through in vitro fertilization, or IVF. This revelation was significant because it helped destigmatize fertility treatments and made many women who had struggled with similar issues feel less alone. Michelle's willingness to discuss such a personal and often painful topic was seen as characteristic of her authentic approach to public life. The IVF revelation, while important and helpful to many people, has unfortunately also been incorporated into some of the speculation surrounding these paternity rumors. Some versions of the unsubstantiated claims have suggested that there might have been complications or undisclosed aspects of the IVF process that could explain questions about Sasha's biological parentage. These theories range from suggestions about donor eggs or sperm to more elaborate conspiracy theories that don't warrant detailed discussion. It's important to understand how IVF actually works to see why these theories are problematic. In vitro fertilization involves retrieving eggs from the intended mother and combining them with sperm from the intended father in a laboratory setting. The resulting embryos are then transferred to the mother's uterus. The process doesn't inherently involve any third-party genetic material unless the couple specifically chooses to use donor eggs or donor sperm, which would be a deliberate decision made openly with their fertility clinic. There is absolutely no evidence that the Obamas used any donor genetic material in conceiving either of their daughters. Michelle has spoken about the IVF process as involving her eggs and Barack's sperm, and there's no reason to doubt this straightforward account. The speculation that somehow the IVF process involved undisclosed complications that would explain paternity questions appears to be simply an attempt to find a way to make the baseless rumors seem more plausible by tying them to a known fact about the family's reproductive history. The persistence of these rumors, despite their lack of foundation, raises important questions about why people are willing to believe such claims about public figures. Part of the answer likely lies in the phenomenon of confirmation bias, where people are more inclined to believe information that confirms their existing beliefs or suspicions. For those who are already skeptical of the Obamas or who enjoy conspiracy theories about public figures, rumors like these can be appealing regardless of their veracity. There's also something psychologically compelling about the idea of hidden secrets in families that appear perfect. The Obama family has been held up as an ideal in many ways, representing success, dignity, and strong family values. For some people, the idea that this perfect image might be hiding darker truths is satisfying in a way, perhaps because it makes their own imperfect lives seem more normal by comparison, or perhaps simply because scandal is inherently interesting to many people. Social media has amplified these dynamics considerably. Rumors that might once have remained confined to tabloid magazines or fringe websites can now spread rapidly across multiple platforms, reaching millions of people within hours. The algorithms that govern social media tend to promote content that generates engagement, and controversial or shocking claims tend to generate more engagement than mundane truth. This creates a system where sensational rumors can spread much faster and farther than corrections or fact checks. The impact of these rumors on Sasha herself is difficult to assess from the outside, but it's not hard to imagine how distressing it must be to have such deeply personal and false claims circulating about your identity and your family. Even when someone understands intellectually that rumors are baseless, seeing them repeated over and over can still be emotionally taxing. For a young woman in her early 20s who has spent most of her life trying to maintain privacy, having her parentage publicly questioned and discussed by strangers must be particularly difficult. The rumors also potentially affect Sasha's relationships with her family members, regardless of whether there's any truth to them. When false claims about family dynamics are widely circulated, they can create awkwardness and tension even among people who know they're not true. Family members might feel compelled to publicly defend themselves or each other, which can be exhausting. Or they might choose to ignore the rumors entirely, which can allow them to fester and grow. The Obama family's legacy extends far beyond Barack Obama's 8 years as President of the United States. They became symbols of hope, progress, and the possibility of change not just in America, but around the world. Barack Obama's election in 2008 was historic as he became the first African-American president, breaking a barrier that many thought would take much longer to overcome. His presidency, regardless of one's political views, represented a significant moment in American history and inspired millions of people who saw themselves reflected in the first family for the first time. Michelle Obama's impact as First Lady was equally significant. She used her platform to advocate for causes that mattered to her and that she believed would make a real difference in people's lives. Her Let's Move campaign aimed to combat childhood obesity and promote healthy eating habits. Her Reach Higher initiative encouraged young people to pursue education beyond high school. Her work with military families brought attention to the sacrifices made by service members and their loved ones. Beyond these specific programs, Michelle became a role model for women and girls around the world, demonstrating that it was possible to be accomplished, intelligent, and ambitious, while also being a devoted mother and partner. The Obama daughters, particularly as they grew older, also became part of this legacy. They represented a younger generation growing up in a more diverse and connected world. The way they carried themselves, despite the extraordinary circumstances of their upbringing, was seen as a testament to their parents' values and parenting approach. They became examples of how young people could navigate privilege and opportunity with grace and groundedness. This carefully built legacy, developed over more than a decade and a half in the public eye, is what makes the recent rumors about Sasha particularly significant from a public perception standpoint. If there were any truth to claims about paternity questions or hidden family secrets, it would fundamentally alter how many people view the Obama family. The narrative would shift from one of an aspirational family that overcame challenges through hard work and mutual support to one that potentially involved deception and hidden truths. However, it's crucial to recognize that legacy and public perception are not the same as truth. The fact that rumors could potentially damage someone's legacy doesn't make those rumors true. Nor does the potential for damage mean that the rumors should be given credibility they haven't earned. The Obama family's legacy should be evaluated based on verified facts and their actual actions and accomplishments, not on unsubstantiated speculation that spreads through social media and gossip sites. The question of how these rumors might affect Sasha's personal relationship with her parents is deeply concerning, precisely because it's so personal and private. Family relationships are complex under the best of circumstances, and adding the element of public scrutiny makes them even more complicated. Even if Sasha knows with absolute certainty that the paternity rumors are false, the mere fact that they exist and are being discussed by strangers could create strain within the family. There's also the question of how such rumors might affect Sasha's sense of identity and belonging. Identity formation is a crucial task of young adulthood, and it's challenging enough without having strangers on the internet questioning fundamental aspects of who you are and where you come from. Even baseless rumors can plant seeds of doubt or create emotional distress. They can make someone feel violated and exposed, as if their most personal business is being discussed and debated by people who have no right to that information and no real knowledge of the truth. For Sasha specifically, who has spent her entire adult life trying to establish some degree of normalcy and privacy away from her famous family, these rumors represent yet another intrusion. They pull her back into the spotlight she's been trying to avoid. They make her the subject of speculation and gossip when she's clearly expressed through her actions that she prefers to live quietly. In this sense, regardless of whether the rumors are true or false, they constitute a form of harassment simply by refusing to respect her obvious desire for privacy. The broader Obama family must also be navigating how to respond to these rumors, if they respond at all. There's a long-standing debate about the best way for public figures to handle false information about themselves. Some argue that responding to rumors only gives them more attention and legitimacy, that it's better to simply ignore baseless claims and let them fade away on their own. This approach has the advantage of not dignifying false allegations with a response, and it avoids potentially creating a cycle where every new rumor demands a public statement. However, the ignore it strategy also has significant downsides. Silence can be interpreted as confirmation by some people who assume that if the rumors were truly false, the family would deny them more forcefully. Silence also allows misinformation to spread unchecked, potentially reaching people who might believe it simply because they haven't heard any alternative perspective. For family members who know the truth, staying silent while false and hurtful things are said about them can be incredibly frustrating and emotionally draining. The Obama family has generally chosen not to respond to most rumors about their private lives, which is consistent with how they've handled similar situations in the past. They've maintained their dignity by not engaging with every piece of gossip or speculation that emerges. When they do speak, publicly, it's typically in controlled settings like interviews for their memoirs or appearances on trusted platforms where they can discuss their lives on their own terms, rather than in response to tabloid allegations. This approach has served them well in many respects. By not responding to every rumor, they've avoided giving credence to claims that don't deserve it. They've maintained control over their own narrative rather than allowing themselves to be constantly pulled into responding to what others say about them. However, this strategy also means that false information can circulate widely without direct contradiction from the people it affects most. Looking forward, the impact of these rumors on the Obama family's future remains uncertain. For Barack and Michelle, who have largely stepped back from day-to-day political life but remain influential public figures, their reputation and legacy are unlikely to be seriously damaged by unsubstantiated gossip. They've built their credibility over decades through their actions and accomplishments, and most people who admire them are unlikely to change their views based on rumors that lack credible evidence. For Sasha, the situation is potentially more complicated. She's still young and still figuring out what she wants her life to look like. Unlike her parents, who chose public life and understood that it came with certain costs to privacy, Sasha didn't choose to be born into a famous family. She's been dealing with the consequences of her parents' fame since before she was old enough to understand what it meant. These rumors are just the latest example of how that fame continues to affect her life, even as she tries to establish independence and privacy as an adult. The question of whether Sasha will ever address these rumors publicly is entirely up to her, and there are valid arguments for either choice. Speaking out could allow her to set the record straight in her own words and potentially shut down some of the speculation. It would give her control over her own narrative rather than letting others define it for her. However, speaking out would also mean breaking the privacy she's worked so hard to maintain and potentially inviting even more scrutiny and questions. It's also worth considering what these rumors reveal about society's relationship with public figures and their families more broadly. We live in an age where the line between public and private has become increasingly blurred, where people feel entitled to know intimate details about the lives of anyone who achieves fame or prominence. This sense of entitlement extends even to the children of famous people, who often become famous by association rather than by choice. The ethics of this situation are worth examining. Does the public have a right to know details about the Obama family's private life, including sensitive matters like how their children were conceived? Most ethical frameworks would suggest that no, there is no such right. Public figures do accept a certain loss of privacy as part of their role, But this doesn't extend to every aspect of their lives, and it certainly doesn't extend to making up or spreading false information about them. The persistence of these rumors also highlights the challenges of combating misinformation in the digital age. Once false information is out there, it's extremely difficult to contain or correct. Even when fact-checkers debunk claims, even when reputable news sources point out the lack of evidence, the rumors continue to circulate in certain online spaces. People who want to believe them will continue to do so, often dismissing contradictory evidence as part of a cover-up or conspiracy. Ultimately, the truth about Sasha Obama's life, her relationships with her family, and her reasons for maintaining privacy are known fully only to her and to those closest to her. The rest of us are left with limited information, occasional public sightings, and whatever the family chooses to share through official channels. This uncertainty leaves room for speculation, but it doesn't justify making up stories or spreading unverified claims as if they were fact. The most respectful approach is to acknowledge what we don't know, to be skeptical of sensational claims that lack credible evidence, and to allow the Obama family, including Sasha, the privacy and dignity that all people deserve regardless of how famous their parents might be.